I'm Dave Scott. I get a lot of questions about alcohol and what I could drink or should drink. I'm not going to cover spirits on this, but I'm going to cover beer and wine. And the reason I'm going to cover this is that I get a question probably once a week like, hey Dave, I enjoy a glass of wine. What do you think? There are some good what's called dry wines. In other words, they're very, very low sugar. There's 1 gram of sugar per liter of wine. And when you look at the dry wines, a lot of them are naturally grown that way, but you have to be quite discretionary. And really the best way to look at it is to look at the vineyard, look at the wine itself. But we can categorize some of the wines as generally dry wines. In other words, very low carbohydrate level. So they classify for a keto or low carb high fat diet, and that's how I rationalize it as well. I have a glass right here. I'm just going to show you a couple types of wines. At the top of the list is Pinot Noir. They're generally quite low in sugar by volume, and this is a nice Pinot here that I have. I'm not a proponent of necessarily the vineyard, but I like Decoy. They're a beautiful wine. This other one here is a Cabernet. Cabernet blend. It's actually a red wine, but it's about 60% Cabernet, and it's from New Clairvaux wine, which is also a dry wine. Here's my glass right here, which is rather stout. So there are wines that are on the dry side. So Pinot Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Tempranillo, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. I apologize for my Italian. My accent's really, really rough. But on the other side over here, I have beer. And people ask, how about beer? Beer is out. Low carb, high fat. I don't say out because people love beer. I used to drink a lot of beer in my 20s and 30s and 40s, and then all of a sudden I said I just stopped drinking beer. Beer in moderation is fine, but the carbohydrate concentration of beer, even gluten-free beer, is very, very high. So by volume, it's about 135 to 170 calories for this can right here. And the carbohydrate level on the beer is anywhere between about 45 to 55 grams of carbohydrate. It's pretty darn high. So we really need to gravitate, if you are thinking about drinking alcohol, because alcohol is digested differently than the other carbohydrates, gravitate to the drier wines. On the white side, the Sauvignon Blancs generally are the lowest in sugar concentration as well. And I'm going to put up a list for all of you so you can take a look at it. And if you like the stuff that I talked about, I'll talk about alcohol more in depth a little bit later, but hopefully that'll give you a little head start on wine and beer.